Prices for Disney parks are skyrocketing, and most folks are not noticing them until they get hit in the wallet. They go to the parks, they come back, and they say, oh, doggone it, my money is gone. I've been separated from my George Washingtons. Oh, wait, no, that's Ben. Vivian Chow writing this out of KTLA. Let's see, that's Los Angeles. Disneyland raises prices on hundreds of food and beverage items yet again. And take a look at this, because you might say, well, just don't buy the food. It's okay, Pro, you just don't have to buy the food. Look at the percentage. Up to 23% increase. You want a waffle? You're going to pay for that waffle. It says the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim has raised prices on hundreds of food items across both parks, affecting many of the most popular food, snacks, and drinks. Per item increases ranged anywhere between 1.5 and 23%. The summer increase impacted more than 800 items across 178 dining locations. Price hikes of the most popular items include a 50-cent increase on churros, popcorn, and caramel popcorn, and a 70-cent increase on vanilla soft serve. Pizza slices and a 3-pack of beignets both rose by $1. You can see here how it went. Popcorn from $6.50 to $7. Dole Whip from $7.29 to $7.49. Pizza slices went from $8.99 to $9.99. And if you want a coffee, a tea, or a hot chocolate, you're going to be paying more than $5 for such a thing. Soft drinks are the same thing. They, too, now are $5.50 for a single bottle of your favorite Coca-Cola. All right, so that's up, and you might say, well, that's not enough for an entire story, right? Well, it's all over the world. Japan Today is reporting on this. Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea are also raising ticket prices, and they're ending free Fast Pass. They were the holdouts. They kept free Fast Pass around. Disney has been very unhappy about that, wanting the Oriental Land Company that runs these parks to get on board and switch on over to paid Lightning Lane. So goodbye, Fast Pass. Casey Basile has this out of Sora News 24. It says, the announcement this week from Tokyo Disney Resort operator Oriental Land didn't fall into any of those fun categories. It says the highest prices to get for a standard adult admission is 10,900 yen. We'll get somebody on a conversion there, but it's going to go up significantly. And goodbye, free Fast Pass. Last theme parks from Disney that do that. Now, I want to go, because prices continue to go up, I'm going to do something different today. This is very unusual that we go to forums, but I'm going to go to forums out of the Disboards. Here we go, folks, over the Disboards. They're the civilized place, maybe. But I want to show you how people were reacting to the rising prices last year, and they continue to go up. I don't know. Culture, do you remember how much is it? Maybe Ron knows. How much is it to park these days? Like at the Magic Kingdom? $35 just to park, right? So yeah. 4 days of parking at the Disney parks, you're going to pay as much as you do for a single day ticket admission, just to park.
Unless you're on property at one of their resorts.
Right. And don't you dare try to do this thing at Disney Springs. Okay. So everywhere the prices are going up. But this is what they were saying on the Disboards. Pink Partridge in a Pear Tree said, at what point will you stop going to the parks? My children are grown, so it's just the two of us we have to pay for now. It's still doable, but I don't think I could afford to go if we had to pay for an entire family. This is October 8th, 2025. Wow. And these are the biggest Disney fans you can find, okay? Disboards. These people are Disney fanatics. Willow UF Good says, we own DVCs, so we won't stop until the contracts are sold or they expire, but we are doing more resort days instead of 8 days or more in the parks. By the way, Disney just got rid of the resort days because unless you're staying at the resort, you can't go there anymore. So too many walls, too few attractions. You get the idea. Going down. Again, these are the biggest Disney fans out there. Nyan says, I have been priced out for a while. I went to Epcot on Mother's Day because my friends were in town. I wanted to spend the day with them. After paying for parking, my ticket, food, and drinks, I spent close to $400. For one person, that's quite a hunk of change. And while I can't afford it, to me, it wasn't worth it. I won't be going back. Good Lord. You've got Tony67 says, long past my breaking point. I stopped going many years ago. Biggest Disney fans out there on these boards. I used to go 2 to 3 times a year with an annual pass or a 10-day non-expiring ticket. They got rid of all that. Disney has been on a downward trajectory for me since 2005. Kenny Wood says that point came a long time ago. I mean, I can keep going. You got 19 Disney says, yep, for us too, it's already past the point, and the price continues to go up. So panelists talk about it. I want to go to Erika first. Erika, these prices are crazy. They're insane. And people are apparently we've reached the point where the middle class can't afford it. Disney's having to do these drastic cuts. But at the same time, they're offering, like a 50% off 4-day, 4 water park option. They've been doing that all summer. At the same time, Erika, they're raising the prices on parking, on food, and all this stuff that's kind of like this hidden thing. so that they hit you in the wallet, but you don't know it until you leave and you look at your bank account and say, whoa.
Yeah, this has been a pattern with them. They'll drop the prices somewhere like tickets or hotels, but then they raise the prices on food and beverage. And we've already known that a lot of the meat and potatoes of their money that they want to make, and they do make, is food and beverage and merch in the parks. They really want you spending more on food, beverage, and merch. And it's disgusting, as MJ would say. I've gotten to a point with us, because we're no longer Florida residents, and as outsiders looking in now, Disney is not much of an option for our family. And I scoured disneystore.com. We actually have a Disney store here across town. I go on eBay to even look at some of the unique merch you can't find on Disney Store. And a lot of the merch is, it's clutter. It's not, and I'm not paying those prices for clutter, for stuff that's just going to sit around my house and collect dust I'm not going to use. I don't know. I'm just thinking practically as, as a mom. Well, not, my kids are older, but just as a mom, as a consumer, as a vacationer.
I'm going to interject a question, because you are a mom, which means eventually you're going to be grandma. I know that's hard to imagine, but that's going to happen.
Whoa.
I technically have 3 grandkids.
She's already graduated to the level of grandma.
I didn't know she looks like she's 12 years old. So anyway.
She doesn't look 12. She looks like she's 19, Culture. Come on. Right. Get on the bandwagon of good descriptions here.
Okay, not to be overly flattering, but you're very young. So you already have 3 grandchildren. So how likely, and this is Disney's biggest problem, generationally, how likely are you going to pass on your tradition of going to Disney parks and enjoying Disney if they're not delivering to your family any longer?
Last I had spoken to the eldest, I was told that the grandkids were fatigued over the Disney stuff, and they were leaning more towards the IPs that they had at Universal. And they had actually switched their annual passes from Disney to Universal. On that note, I have a sister who lives in the Orlando area, and her kids lean towards more the IPs that Universal has, and they have switched their annual passes as well. And mind you, these are all family that live in Central Florida. They're technically locals. And for me as a grandparent, I mean, you just kind of follow what your adult kid is telling you, and you follow their lead as a parent. Okay, this is what my grandkids are gravitating to. Naturally, as a grandparent, that's what you're going to follow. Because if you're going to gift something to your grandkids, you want to gift them something they're going to appreciate and like and use and play with, instead of it just being tossed to the side like they don't care.
Well, let me give you all something that I find incredible, and let's see if this springboards some more of the great conversation we're having. So we talked about these food price increases at Disneyland, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things we talked about was the price of a bottle of soda, plastic bottle of soda, right? Let me just tell you what Disney's making off you. Okay. Now you all know Disney has a deal with Coca-Cola, right? They're partners. Okay, so. And it works out well for both of them, I would say, because the manufacturing cost of a bottle of Coca-Cola, I've looked this up, the actual cost that the company, Coca-Cola, that they invest in getting the bottle of plastic, putting the soda in it, putting the cap on it, and getting it out there is 15 cents per bottle. Disney is charging $5.59 at Disneyland for said 15-cent bottle of Coca-Cola, which is a 37 times return on investment. And as we've said with Disney World, how do they manage to get you to pay 37 times the cost of the bottle? Because it's at Disney World, which we're looking at right now, it's 120 degrees heat index. They won't pay for air conditioning hardly anymore. They've taken away a lot of the interior buildings. So they know. They may offer the ticket at 50% off, but you're going to pay 37 times more than the value of that bottle of soda because it's freaking hot and you don't want a sunstroke out there on the concrete. That's what's happening here.
I've underestimated this family because I'm not doing that. I will bring a stroller and bring my own stuff before I will pay almost $6 for a 20 ounce of Coke. That is
right.
But not even anecdotally, Disney increases its food and beverage prices between 5 and 8% annually. That's a minimum. Over the last decade, when you think about the staples that everybody got at Disney, like the Mickey ice cream, bars or whatever, the chocolate covered Mickey heads, whatever, those have gone up from 58 to 63% over the last decade. Dole Whips are the same thing. I mean, the stuff that we used to take for granted as the typical theme park treat, you're outpacing inflation, which was only 32% over the course of the last decade, largely driven by 4 years up to recent years. But it's kind of distasteful to think that they're always about increasing margins, and they're looking for 8 to 14% on just festival foods alone, which are high margin anyway. So I'm thinking that this is Disney's pattern of extracting more dollars and grabbing you by your ankles and shaking you for your pocket change. I think that's where we are. And I think everybody's realizing it now.
Everybody is really realizing it, but I remember being in the park just the other day, and I was thinking to myself, okay, so I was looking, a churro was $9. A churro. A turkey leg is now, I think, $16 or $17. Turkey legs were $8 and $9 just a few years ago. The kids' meals that used to be $4.99 or $5.99, they're now $10 and $11 for the kids' meals. And the quick serve, it's just crazy. It's food across the board, merchandise across the board. I still don't know how you sell so many $100 tiny backpacks, but they do.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ron. So on the most recent trip to Magic Kingdom, I wanted to have some decent food. Magic Kingdom right now, because Columbia Harbor House has dropped so badly in quality, is a hard place to find good food. But Skipper's Canteen is one of those places you can find decent food. So 2 adults and a child at the Jungle Cruise Skipper Canteen in Adventureland, I would say is not the highest priced meal you can get, but it's not the lowest either. But 2 adults and a child, which would be 2 adult meals, a kid's meal, an appetizer, and I think one of us had a soda, or a tea or something like that, was over $120.
Yeah,
that is wild. That is wild because we're not talking about a 5-star Michelin. We're talking about pasta and whatever, and what's good, like even if it's a decent restaurant, a kid is eating chicken nuggets. Over $120. This is what we're talking about. Ron, let me ask you this. Weigh in, please, on also the alcohol and the rise in the price of alcohol and how Disney's been leaning on that. And are the parks now unaffordable for the middle class?
Look, they're affordable for the middle class. They want to save up 5-10 years. But while you're saving up for 5 or 10 years to go on the maybe one Disney vacation you might take to go, guess what? The prices are raising faster than you're saving. So it is very difficult, and it is very clear. And I think Disney's even stated it, that their new strategy is to cater to higher income levels. I don't remember how they stated it, but I remember Iger saying something very specific about it, that was actually part of their strategy, is to cater to higher income level guests, not even families, but guests, because they want more Disney adults, dinks and singles, who come without their kids.
Okay,
Culture, Erika, final thoughts on it.
The singles are okay. I'm sorry. I've been watching a whole stream of not really TikToks, but I found a YouTuber that really dives deep into Disney adults going into debt over vacations, and I don't know, it's the whole thing.
50%, Erika, is the stat. 50% of people, flat out just people that go to Disney World, are doing so on debt. They're taking out a loan. They're doing whatever. 50%. Yeah.
It's no mystery here in the United States. We are a country of just, we borrow our way through life until we die. That's been a thing, and it's just increasingly getting worse. And we have turned into an entitled, I don't want to say country, but there's a generation out there, younger Gen X, millennial, and now Gen Z. They're willing to, it's the YOLO, you only live once attitude, and FOMO on top of that. And Disney markets, and they use all this psychology on people like that. Like, I've just got
the magic. Right, it's the magic. I've got to spend money to do the magic.
This instant gratification culture, and Disney has been, honestly, in a sense, successfully getting in on that and bringing in all these Disney adults. But if you notice, and I've noticed this too, in a lot of these TikTok videos, increasingly, we're seeing less families in the video footage, and we're seeing more young adults, and even adults my age that they don't have kids, or they're not married, and that's an interesting thing. And I know it's kind of been lightly mentioned that Disney is catering to them, hence why they're building all these bars. But now stats are coming out that Gen Z, they're not drinking.
Right. Yeah, that is.
So I'm like, I don't know why you're building all this alcohol related stuff when your younger generations are actually turning away from it, because they've seen the effects of it from the older generations, their parents, their older siblings, maybe even grandparents, and we're turning into, people want more of a healthy culture, and they're turning away from that kind of consumerism. It's a trade-off, culture if they get rid of the bars because young people won't drink, Disney will start putting in tattoo parlors if they have to.
They're going to have to, and that's the problem. They look at this ultimately, I think, is how we ended up with all these bars like Beacon Barrel and stuff like that. It's not because of my generation. It's because
no, you want to be absolved of this. I say that.
No,
not my generation.
No, I'm going to say that Disney has fallen victim to the idea that the people they need to market to are their free advertisers, the influencers that have been that always go and show up at these events when they open something new, and they go wildly gaga about it because they're peddling this Disney to an audience that largely may not necessarily participate in any of these things, but are going to want to do the new cool thing, and they want to know what the new cool thing is. So when you talk about TikTok, as Erika did a moment ago, it's led Disney to make some very detrimental decisions and to buy into an idea that, even when it comes down to political stuff, that this woke garbage is popular, or this, anti-family, position is stronger than where we're headed, or, tastes are changing, which honestly, they don't have any proof of. In fact, they have proof of the opposite, that people are looking to spend more time with family, that people are rejecting screens. I mean, do you know how much I don't want to use this anymore? It's like, I don't want to use that in a theme park unless I'm going to take a picture of nieces and nephews and my folks and whoever else I happen to be with. It's the same reason I used the phone when I was at the recent event that we're going to talk about during our bonus segment. I don't think that Disney really is paying attention to where culture is going, and it's direct opposite of where they were driving culture for the last 10 years. And again, Disney has largely been helping drive this minimalist, I should say, this very small movement of loud voices that they think they're a big part of in destroying our culture in the United States. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, culture. We'll pay attention to it, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, I would say Disney is now, unfortunately, unaffordable for the middle class.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.